So, yesterday, July 15th, marks 3 years since I made the decision to be sober. I can't say yesterday I've been sober for 3 years because I haven't been. Late last year, well, for the entire duration of my sobriety up until the end of last year, I missed it. I missed drinking. I missed having a glass of wine with dinner. I missed cooking on a Sunday and drinking wine. Like, it was just, it was just one of my favorite things. But it's just unfortunate that thing was kind of like the gateway into something greater, Like, I was unable to just leave it at that. I was unable to just leave it as drinking, like having a glass of wine with dinner or having a glass of wine while I cook. Like, it would turn into having 2 bottles of wine with dinner, getting fucked up every single night. So since I made the decision to be sober, I'd wondered if I was capable of going back to drinking in moderation. Excuse me, I'm trying to have a conversation with myself. I can't even say going back to being able to drink in moderation, because since the day I started drinking when I was 19, it was always an escape. There was never any moderation. It was 0 to 100 straight away, which is a big part of my personality. Like, I'm very much all in if it's something that I want to do. Like, I will give every single piece of myself to that thing. And it's just unfortunate that that part of my personality also led to me struggling with alcoholism. I think a lot of people see that addictive nature as a detriment, and if you channel it into negative things, if you channel it in negative ways, if you take that part of your personality and that part of your nature and you express it in ways that cause harm to yourself or to other people, then yeah, it's a bad thing, But that same thing that caused me to struggle with alcoholism is also the reason why I'm in the position that I'm in right now. It's also why I train so much. It's also why I work so much. It's also why I give everything I have to the things that I love to do. So, excuse me. Back to the end of last year, because I'd been wondering for such a long time if I was able to drink in moderation, if I was able to handle, if I gave myself boundaries and I gave myself limitations, restrictions, if I would be able to have alcohol sometimes. I was in a safe environment. I was happy. There were a lot of positives going on in my life. And so I was like, hey, maybe I'll try this. Maybe I'll just drink when I'm at home, I'll just have a glass of wine with dinner, stuff like that. And for the first week, for the first week, it was like that, And then that feeling kicked back in, that I would be at home by myself and I would just be so bored, and I'd be looking around. I'd be like, I have this to do and I have this to do and I have this to do. Oh, it'd be so much more fun if I was drunk. And so I would go get a bottle or 2 of wine and I would start drinking, and then I would clean the house. Like, I was productive in those moments, but my thought process was extremely toxic, extremely unhealthy. And that's kind of where I spiraled. And then my boundary that I set about only drinking at home when I'm in a safe environment led to me getting completely fucked up on New Year's at a party with a bunch of our friends, to the point where I don't remember a lot of it. And the final night of drinking, I remember most of it pretty clearly. We'd been drinking all day. It was a Sunday. We'd been drinking all day. We went to a party and then came home, and Chris and I got into the biggest fight we'd ever had. and I was a completely different person. You know, I wasn't myself. The person that I was that night, the person that I was after drinking for a full day was someone I don't ever want to be again. It was someone I've been in the past, and someone that I thought I had removed from my life. And when I woke up the next day, I realized, you know, I had fucked up. You know, I was unable at this point in my life, and I don't know if I don't think there will ever be a point in my life, to be honest, like mentally and emotionally, I'm unable to have alcohol, and be responsible with it. You know, it turns me into a different person. The way I feel about myself quickly degenerates. You know, during that 5 weeks or so of drinking, I don't even know if it was that long, to be honest. It might have been 3 weeks, it might have been 4 weeks. I don't remember. But that period of time where I started drinking again, you know, I started having nightmares about dying. I started having nightmares about committing suicide. I was crying randomly. I would cry on my drive home from the gym. Some days I didn't even go to the gym. And the days that I did go, I would be in such a bad mood that, you know, the people around me, the people that I loved and that loved me, just thought that that Chris and I were fighting, you know, and that I was unhappy because of that. They didn't realize that it was because I had been drinking. And, you know, I told Amber and Adam that I had tried drinking again, you know, and I told them about the boundaries I'd set, but I didn't tell them about how bad it got or how bad it was getting until I hit that breaking point on that final evening, you know. So then that was back in January, and I've been sober ever since. So I haven't been 3 years sober, but yes, it is the 3-year anniversary of making the decision to be sober. And I'm being honest, like, I won't ever drink again. I won't. I know it the thing that I've struggled with, I think, the most is feeling this sense of shame or feeling this weakness when I think about or talk about the fact that this particular substance has such power over me, you know. But that's what it is. Like, I've done a lot of work. I've done a lot of therapy. I've done a lot of reading. I've done a lot of work to figure out, you know, why I would spiral as much as I did. And it was always because I had a lot of unresolved trauma from childhood, from relationships, from friendships, from everything, you know. Like, my life tends to be a series of sporadic, spontaneous moments. There's a lot of situations where I'm literally just flying by the seat of my pants, just winging it. And that, coupled with a lot of things that I still struggle with as an adult, means that for me, as soon as I'm given a way to forget about it for an instant, I take it 100%, and I go as far as I possibly can with it, you know. And that's part of why I train so much. And I know I'm channeling that addictive nature into more positive aspects. I heard something the other day. Yeah, you know, for a while I've been calling myself an addict. I've been saying I'm an addict, you know. And then I said it to my therapist the other day. She's like, you know, that word addict implies that something else has power over you. So even when you're trying to say it in a positive manner, you're still saying that this particular thing has a power over you, and that you don't have the will or the strength or the to be able to stop it, you know. And in some instances that's true. But I'm learning to stop using that word addict or using the words addictive nature, addictive personality as limiting factors, and instead embracing the parts of that that allow me to be successful in what I want to do, you know? Instead, I'm trying to channel that energy, because it is an energy. It is, I constantly like feel like I'm fucking revving at 6,000 consistently, you know? And for a long time, alcohol was the only thing that would bring me back down to zero. And so now I'm learning to find other things that bring me back down to zero. I've been reading, I've been journaling, you know, I've stopped watching so much TV at night. I've stopped playing so many video games. Like I've been walking my dogs more. I've been spending more time outside and spending more time at the gym, and all these things are really positive. And yeah, I wanted to do this video yesterday, but I wasn't entirely sure of what I wanted to say. Hi, babies. But I wanted to put this out there because I know it's a fucking long video, but I wanted to put this out there because I know I'm not the only one that has had those thoughts, and I know I'm not the only one who has chosen sobriety and who's struggled with it. What? Can I help you? Blue's talking to me so much. Get up here. Come here. Come here. And I just want to say it's okay, you know? It's okay to struggle. It's okay to fail. I honestly, I don't even see it as a failure. I see it as something I needed to do because I had a lot of unanswered questions. And now those questions are answered. So, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. 3 years. 3 years minus 5 weeks.
Eagle on the track.